Today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 agency sales metrics that you need to know in order to fix the growth constraints you have in your agency and start scaling to the revenue level that you really want to be at. So to kick it off, there's really three main reasons why agencies struggle to scale. Either they lack opportunity, like they don't know how to generate their own leads, they don't know how to generate appointments, they don't have anyone to talk to, they don't have any opportunities, right? Prospects. Or they don't know, number two, how to convert those prospects. So there's lack of opportunity, lack of ability to convert that opportunity. And then lastly, a lot of agency owners are stuck doing the day-to-day work. They are stuck in fulfillment, they're stuck in account management, okay? These are the three biggest issues that agency owners have from what I've seen after coaching over 1,000 agency owners. Lack of opportunity, lack of ability to convert opportunity, and doing all the work themselves. Now, in this video, we're mainly going to be focusing on those first two buckets of generating opportunity and converting that opportunity, okay? So we're gonna be talking about how to look at the sales engine, the sales arm of your agency, if you will, diagnose what's wrong with it by looking at the data, and then fixing those constraints so we can start growing, so we can start generating more opportunities, so we can start converting more of that opportunity, etc. Most agencies struggle for years to start really growing and scaling, and what they don't realize is that it's not that they can't solve the problems that are preventing them from growing. It's that they can't identify the problems in the first place because, quite frankly, 99% of agency owners don't track their prospecting and sales data to the degree they should. But if you do track your sales and marketing data to that degree, the data you're left with will be like a cheat sheet. It's going to tell you exactly what to do and exactly what to fix in your agency. And that's pretty much exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. So without further ado, here are the top 10 metrics you need to be tracking in your agency as you begin advertising and marketing your services and starting to really scale up the sales engine within your agency. So I'll go ahead and list out all 10, and then we'll dive into how to use this data to diagnose and fix any growth constraints your agency might have. Number one, ad spend. Of course, if we are running ads to generate leads and appointments for our agency, we need to know how much money we're spending on a day-to-day basis. Number two, how many leads we're generating. Number three, our cost per lead. Number four, how many appointments we've generated. Number five, cost per appointment. Number six, how many live calls we're taking. In other words, how many of those appointments showed up. Okay. And then number seven, cost per live call. Number eight, show rate for those appointments, which is essentially live call divided by booked calls. Conversion rate, so how many of those live calls converted into deals. And then number 10, CAC, customer acquisition cost. Customer acquisition cost is one of the most important, if not the most important metrics in all of this sales data that we're going to talk about today. After all, if you know that you can acquire a customer for a certain amount, like $800 or $1,000, and you know that that customer is likely to pay you $10, $15, $20, $25,000 over the course of time, we can ramp up our marketing and scale pretty comfortably knowing that we have such a large ROI on the back end. Okay, so that's all 10 of the metrics I'm going to talk about today. The question becomes now, if we have all of those metrics and we're tracking all of that for our agency, how do we look at that data and then spot the growth constraints like I talked about earlier? How do we look at that data and say, okay, well, if this metric looks like this, or as this is off, that means I need to do XYZ to start growing my agency, okay? So let's dive into how we leverage this data, which is the main point of this whole video, okay? So as I look at these metrics, amount spent, leads, cost per lead, appointment, live call, show rate, conversion rate, etc., we need to understand that if we have all these numbers, it's like a cheat sheet. It should tell us what to do. Now let's start with number one, amount spent, leads, cost per lead. Okay, we're spending a certain amount of money, we're generating a certain amount of leads, and therefore we have a cost per lead. Amount of money spent divided by the amount of leads we've generated is our cost per lead. So at the forefront of all of this, if our cost per lead is really high, that tells us that we need to spend time honing in our marketing. We need to make sure that we are adjusting our ad copy, We're trying out new creatives such as images and videos. We need to work on the front end offer that's mentioned in our advertising. We need to study our TAM, or our total addressable market, our ideal client avatar, better, understand their pain points, understand their desires, which will lead to us writing better, more effective copy to make our ads more ROI positive. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, but long story short, constraint number one, lead cost. If your lead cost is too high, we need to go back to the drawing board with our ads and work on our ad copy and our creative and fix that so we can dial in our cost per lead. Next constraint we're going to talk about is appointments and cost per appointment. Okay, so let's say that we're spending money on advertising, our cost per lead is good, but our cost per appointment is really, really high. Well, there's a few things we can look at there. Okay, we have leads coming into our funnel, and then what's going to happen next? After they opt in, they're probably going to go to a landing page where there might be a video, there might be a VSL, and then a place to book a call with us, right? The conversion rate optimization of that page could, and a lot of the times does, have something to do with our high cost per appointment. Remember, if our cost per lead is good, but it's just our cost per appointment that's high, we need to look at that booking page and see if that booking page is converting well, okay? And or do we have follow-up systems on the back end going out to our raw leads that are encouraging them to book an appointment, okay? So check out the conversion rate optimization on your landing page. Are there social proof and case studies that will incentivize someone to book a call with you? Is the calendar function or booking form on that page easy to use? Is there a clear and concise headline that shows them exactly what's going to happen on that call if they book with you? We need to look at the CRO of that page and make sure that is dialed in. Okay, now next up is live calls and cost per live call. Okay, so let's say we're generating leads and our CPL is good. We're generating appointments and our cost per appointment is good, or cost per booked call is good, okay? Now how about live calls? This has to do with show rate. A live call is how many people out of our booked calls actually showed up. Let's say we have 10 booked calls and we have 7 live calls. That means we had a show rate of 70%. So this all becomes about how do we increase our show rate? And there's a lot of things we can do here. Number one, we need to look at our back-end systems and our follow-up systems to make sure that our leads and appointments are getting text and email follow-ups to make sure that they know when their appointment is, they know what's going to happen on the call. Number two, something else that we can do is have a confirmation page after they book a call that gives them more information about us and our company and our offer, so they can start watching more materials and more videos about us before the time of their appointment, okay? One thing I like to talk about a lot is the fact that referrals are like the hottest leads we can get. I think everyone will agree with that. Now, the goal with a really good appointment generation funnel, or a booking funnel, or a call booking funnel, is to generate an appointment or a lead that is as close to a referral as possible in terms of quality. Now, how do we do that? Okay, well, through our funnel, and especially on our appointment booking confirmation page, we need to make sure there's a lot of material and videos and case studies and information about us, ourselves, and our company, so that way by the time they get on a call with us, they feel really acquainted with us and like they already know us, okay? So again, if we're trying to increase this show rate, we need to make sure we have a good confirmation page that has a lot of materials on it that's going to get people acquainted with us before the call. We need to make sure that our email and text sequences are dialed in on the back end and appointment reminders are dialed in. And then we just need to make sure that our team and or our appointment setter is following up with that prospect and making sure they are actually confirmed for the call. All these things will help increase your show rate, which is a big deal if you're spending money on advertising. Now, one of the last things we'll talk about is conversion rate. Okay, so now we have people on the sales call. How do we convert them into clients or customers? Okay, this really all comes down to, after we have our offer and pricing structure dialed in, really comes down to sales ability. Okay, how we go about that sales call. Do we have a structured sales call process in place, or a script? Are we presenting our offer or our product or service well? Are we handling objections well? Now, this is a massive topic that I could spend hours and hours talking about, but getting better at closing and or getting better at hiring good closers is a big part of all of this. If you need help with developing a framework or a script for sales calls, make sure you check out the other videos on my channel. There's one video in specific that's an 8-step sales script or an 8-step sales framework for your sales calls. I highly recommend checking that out. And then the last metric we're going to talk about is cost per acquisition, CAC. This is one of the most important, if not the most important metric in your business, like I mentioned earlier. Now, cost per acquisition is simply the amount of money you spend on advertising divided by the amount of new customers you've gotten. So let's say you spent $10,000 on advertising and you got 10 clients. That means your cost per customer acquisition is $1,000. For a lot of businesses, a lot of high ticket businesses, $1,000 cost per acquisition is not bad. In my marketing agency, our cost per acquisition was always in the $650 type of range, okay? $500 to $600 or so. That means for every $500 or $600 we spent on advertising, Facebook ads or Google ads, we were acquiring a new client that was paying us anywhere from $1,500 a month to $2,500 a month to $3,500 a month. Now, what's cool about everything we've talked about in this video is that if we dial in and fix all those constraints that we talked about earlier, it will result in a better and better and better cost per acquisition over time, okay? So if we dial in our lead cost and then we dial in our appointment cost, okay? And then we make sure we have a good show rate, therefore our cost per live call is really good. And then we get really good at sales and our conversion rate is really good as well. And by the way, what I mean by really good is 25, 30, 35% is a really good conversion rate for the marketing industry, okay? Don't let the gurus out there tell you should be closing high ticket sales at 80% conversion rates or whatever. People are just trying to make themselves sound cool. If you're converting high ticket sales at 20, 25, 30, 35%, that's pretty good. You can always get better, but that's the target I would aim for. You know what? I'll go ahead and give you a clear and concise target. Let's call it 30%. That's the target to aim for, okay? But if you fix all these constraints, including your cost per lead, cost per appointment, cost per live call, your conversion rate, all of that is going to result in a better and better and better cost per acquisition over time, like I mentioned, okay? So having said all that, those are the top 10 sales and marketing metrics that you need to be tracking in your marketing agency to start really growing the sales engine and scaling up the sales arm of your agency. This is critical for agency owners who have been stuck below 10K per month or stuck below 20 or 30K per month. Most agency owners don't treat their business like a real business and start to really advertise and generate their own leads, just like we do for our clients. Most agency owners aren't practicing what they preach. And then thereafter, they still have constraints that they have to fix, such as the cost per lead, appointment, cost per live call, conversion rate, etc. Okay? If you need help with any of this stuff, just reach out to us at Agency Collective. We actively, every single day, help agency owners solve these exact constraints in their agency. Having said all that, I hope this video was very helpful for you. I hope that if you are an agency owner who is not currently marketing and advertising your agency, you would consider it, because that's when you can truly start to scale your agency and build a recurring, predictable client acquisition machine, as opposed to just being stuck wondering if you're going to get more referrals month over month, right? And then number two, I hope for those of you that are currently marketing and advertising your agency, that this will give you some good benchmarks to hit or targets to aim for as you look at your current metrics and see, okay, how can I optimize different parts of this process to result in a better cost per acquisition, okay? So again, I really hope this video helped you guys out a lot. Please be sure to like the video. That helps the algorithm to where more people see this video. And please be sure to subscribe to this channel if this content was helpful for you. We'll see you in the next video.